Hi everyone, my name's Emma. I'm the SENDIAS manager for Wigan and Lee. Today we've got myself talking about SENDIAS and how we can support young people. And we've also got Sean Parkinson from Embrace talking about travel training. So Sean's going to go first today. So I will pass over to Sean now. And we will be doing a Q&A at the end of the session. So if you've got any questions which you think, oh, I'd really like to ask Sean this or ask myself while we're doing our presentations, then you can put it in the chat and then we'll answer them at the end. Okay then, thank you. Hand over to Sean now.
Hello everybody, I'm Sean Parkinson and I also work at Embrace. I am an apprentice, so I'll be talking about my role. Next slide. So my name is Sean Parkinson. I've been involved with Embrace since 2018. I have started off as a volunteer. Then through Wigan and Lee College, I started doing an internship. And then eventually I started doing an apprenticeship, which I'm currently doing now until the end of the month. So I help out with the travel training project, where I help support people getting from A to B on public transport. Next slide. So what is travel training? Well, travel training is a training process that helps individuals learn to get from A to B by either train, bus, walking. As you can see, there's a picture of a bus on the PowerPoint. It's actually a Manchester to Sheffield route, which is a long route. Anyway, in our travel training, we are route specific. And we are person centered. So each of our customers is different. They all have different needs and they learn differently. And since we are route specific, we only learn them one route at a time. And our service is free and it's for 18 plus at the moment. So next slide. So our travel training order. Well, we first get a referral that is mostly online through emails. We have someone in the office that checks the referral. Most of the referrals are sent by social workers, but we do get self-referrals as well and through other means. And then when a referral comes through to Embrace through our special system, the person who checks the referral sends Ben sends them through to me. And then that's when I contact them by phone to arrange a home visit, or well, not just a home visit, but like a safe place for them to meet me, because not all of them like doing home visits. And then after the initial home visit, that's when I start planning the routes. So then I get all the information of why they want to do the travel training, what days they're able to do, and then I start planning when to start working with them. Then I contact them again with a start date, and then that's when a travel training starts. Each travel training session is different for each person. We normally offer 6 sessions, but sometimes it can be 4 sessions, depending on their speed of learning, or more. But we do often review them after 6 weeks. And then, I do the whole trip with them. I do the whole session with them. Then I start meeting them halfway, like meeting them at the bus stop. And eventually there comes a point where I meet them at their destination. And then that's when, after reviewing, that's when the travel training ends, when I know for certain that they can do the route on their own. And then at the end, they get a certificate and a feedback form to send back to me well, just for feedback reasons, really, just so it's good having feedback off people because it looks good on us as well. So next slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. That was great. Thank you for your presentation. So if anybody's got any questions for Sean, then please put them in the chat and then we'll answer them at the Q&A. So I'll start my presentation now. Amanda. Thank you. So, like I said before, my name's Emma Williams and I'm the SEND-DIAS manager for Wigan and Leigh. Now, I don't know if you've heard of SEND-DIAS before or know where we can support, but that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go over what we do, what SEND-DIAS means and how we can support young people. Next slide, please. So first of all, let's meet the team. So there's myself, my colleague David, Sarah, Valerie and Lynn. So there's 5 of us all in all. Next slide. So what does SEND-DIAS mean? It may be a word that you've not come across before. It is quite a long word, it's quite a funny word, but every letter in the word SEND-DIAS stands for every letter stands for a word. So SEND-DIAS stands for Special Educational Needs and Disability Information, Advice and Support Service. And special educational need just means if you need a little bit of support or a lot of support, either is fine, but that's what that means. It just means you may need a little bit of support or a lot. So SEND-DIAS is a free, impartial and confidential service. Next slide, please. So areas where we can support, so we can give advice around support in education, we can support you with connecting to local services, signposting to activities and groups within Wigan and Leigh, support with form filling and applying for grants, advocacy in meetings, which means if you feel like you need a little bit of support within a meeting or you may want to say something but don't know how to put it across and you would want someone else to say it for you, then that's what advocacy means. So we could support and talk on your behalf if you wanted. You know, you don't have to, but if you want, you know, we could support in meetings and appointments. We can guide through the special educational needs support and the graduated approach and provide information and advice around educational and healthcare plans. Next slide, please. So advice around education, it's supposed to say education. For me, it's not the N off, but it says education. So we can offer information and advice and support around educational healthcare plans, annual reviews and much more. So that may be just asking, what is an educational healthcare plan? What is an annual review? How do I attend my annual reviews? Things like that. So all the field workers, so all of the team, what you met at the start of this presentation, we're all knowledgeable around law on special educational needs. And there's a lot of jargon out there. So a lot of people will, instead of saying educational health and care plans, will say EHCP. So if you don't know what that stands for, it can be a bit hard to understand what the person is actually going on about. So we try and break that down so it's accessible for everyone. Next slide, please. Okay, so form filling, we can support with form filling too. So I don't know if any of you have filled or seen a personal independence payment form. They can be quite long, quite daunting, quite hard to fill out. So we can provide support and guidance around filling in them forms. Next slide, please. So community information. So we offer signposting for families and young people to local groups and services according to the, and it's just caught a little bit off, but it was according to the individual interests. So if you came to me and said, Emma, I'm really interested in arts and crafts, can you signpost me to any activities? I could be like, yes, have you heard of Busy Bees? They meet regularly, they do lots of arts and crafts, they tend to make like cards and things like that. And you may say, I can give you the information and then you could go to that activity if you wish to do so. Next slide, please. So other examples of organisations we have signposted to. So Umbrella Arts, they do a lot of arts and crafts as well. Leisure for All and Get Out, Get Active. They do a lot of like physical activities, so swimming, wall climbing, rebound therapy, which is trampolining, and they do Wheels for All as well. Let's Connect, and all you need is through Embrace again. So we're Sean and myself are Embrace, and all you need is a friendship and dating service for 18 plus, and they do a lot of social events in safe environments. Next slide, please. So online resources. So this is where I need you. So we're currently trying to develop some online resources aimed at young people. So it would be really great if any of you've got any topics or ideas, or think, you know, I want this information, but I don't know where to find it. I think you should do a resource on it. You know, that would be really great. And I'll talk about later on how you can tell us what topics you think will be best. Next slide. So how to get support from SendYas. So we offer 9 appointments a week, and you can book on through our website, which is at the bottom of that slide, wigensendyass.co.uk. And these appointments can be in person, over the phone, or Microsoft Teams. You can bring a parent or carer along if you would like, we, like I said, if it's in person, it tends to be at Plattbridge. So pick whichever is best for you. Next slide, please. So we do have a Facebook page. It's if you go on Facebook and search Wigan SendYas, you'll see us. And you can like and send us a message. So if you actually think, you know, it's only a quick question, I don't want to book on for an appointment, because them appointments normally last an hour. I don't want to book on, it's just a quick question, maybe like, what is an EHCP? Or an educational healthcare plan, or an annual review. I really want to attend my annual review, but don't know how. Then you could send us a message, and we could give you some information over there. And also, like I've just said about the resources, if you've got any ideas for topics, what you'd like us to cover, then please feel free to send us a message. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you. Right.
Thank you very much, Emma, and thanks, Sean. That was really useful information, and we'll open up a question and answer session in a second. I think it's probably worth mentioning, while it is the Informing Me session, that a lot of young people who'll be watching today will be approaching sort of the age of 18. And we also deliver at Embrace, we have a Care Act advocacy contract. So what this means is, and I'm not going to go into great detail, as there's already been a lot of information passed across, but if you're over 18 and you're having a meeting with a social worker, some of you may have mums, dads, someone else who cares for you, who comes along to those meetings with you, and they can help you out, make sure you understand everything that's going on and that all your views are heard. But some people might think that they don't want the mum and dad going, or they might not have someone who they can rely on who's going to help them in their meetings with the social worker. So you have got a legal entitlement to an advocate. We provide that advocacy. So if you felt that you was going to be meeting with a social worker anytime soon, and you're over 18 and it's about your care and support, and you wanted someone in there to make sure that you was getting your views across and make sure that your rights were being upheld, then that's something else that you could contact Embrace about. And we will be sharing the Preparing for Adulthood website with you. It'll be in the chat, but we'll also email it out, and you can find more information about Care Act advocacy, SendYas, travel training, and all the different sort of information and advice services that are available in Wiggy that you could benefit from. So you can find them out at a later date. Okie doke. And yeah, and Amanda's just put that in the chat. Brilliant. Right, so we'll move to some question and answers, and similar to yesterday, I just encourage you, if there's any particular questions that you want answered, or something that you've been, maybe one of the speakers have said and you weren't sure if you understood it and you want some clarity, feel free to just pop something in the chat, and I can put it to one of our speakers today and try and get a bit more information for you. So question 1, what are the different ways that someone can contribute to their annual review?
Okay, so I think this is a question for me. So, different ways you can contribute to the annual review. It's really up to you. So, that may be writing how you feel and how school's going. You could maybe make a video, what could be shown at the meeting. So an annual review is a meeting regarding an educational healthcare plan. So to get your views across, one, you could write it down, you could make a video, you could attend the meeting if you wanted to, and put your views across to the people who are supporting you. It's honestly up to you and whatever you think is the best way for you. Yeah.
How would someone say, someone who's watching today and they're thinking, I don't know if I've got an education health and care plan or not? How would someone know?
Okay, so you could ask several different people, to be honest. School will definitely know, school or college will definitely know if you've got an educational healthcare plan. Parents, carers, they may know as well, but like I said, school, college will definitely know.
And what type of things? So if I've got an education health and care plan, for instance, what type of things would that give me? You know, what would be the point of having one?
Okay, well, the point of having an educational healthcare plan is to get more support or to get the support that you need depending on your needs. So that looks different for everyone. So for one person that may be looking at having a one-to-one, so having someone with them explaining the work on a one-to-one basis. So it's just them and another person explaining the work and helping them doing the work. That could look like working in small groups. It could just look like having interventions such as going out to class to have maybe some math. So interventions means extra classes. So extra maths classes, extra English classes can look different for everyone.
Right. So it's just I've just seen something in the chat. So it's from council, local. So I'm not sure what the question is. It's council's local offer of suitable provisions after year 11 for EHCP. I think that potentially be looking on the local offer where there would that information may be on there.
There is a page on the local offer where it does say all the schools, colleges, specialist provisions in Wigan and Leigh area. So there is a page what states that.
Brilliant, thanks Emma. So another question we've got, and I think this one might be for you, Sean. Can travel training help me learn my way to college?
Yes, it can. Since we travel train people over 18s for all sorts of things. So I do travel train. I have travel trained people to college, to work, even just for leisure if they want to get confident on public transport. So yes, I can travel train people to learn to get to college and in real time as well. So for example, if they started at 9, I would meet them at 8, it depends on how far they live, but I'd meet them in real time and I'd also take them home in real time as well. For example, if they finished at 4, I would take them home at 4. We are very flexible in travel training. Our hours vary depending on the people who we support.
So if we've got someone who's watching today, Sean, who currently gets a lift to college by, say, the parent maybe, or they're using a taxi, and they want to try to catch the bus themselves, you would say turn up in the morning and catch the bus to college with them, is that right?
That is correct, yes, until they start feeling confident on doing it on their own. Then I'd start meeting them halfway or at the destination.
Okay. And what happens if they didn't feel confident? Would they be left on their own or would you stay with them?
I'd stay with them for as long as they need be until I know they're home safe.
Brilliant.
I mean, each person is different, so each person learns differently and they learn at different speeds. So We
And
are
what
person-centred.
happens when someone comes to the end of travel training?
Well, once I know for certain they can do it, I do review them, and well, I only know for certain that they can do it if I allow them to do it on their own. So I keep in touch with them, and I'm at the other end of the phone or something, and they let me know that they've done it. That's when I know they've completed the travel training, and that's when I can send a review form out and the certificate.
Okay.
Hope that makes sense.
No, it does. That might lead to a question that we just got on the chat. So
Yeah.
it's that you said in your presentation that it usually takes around 6 weeks for someone to complete the training.
That's
What
the
happens if
standard.
someone needed a lot longer than 6 weeks?
Then we do it longer because, well, sometimes we have cases that can last up to 3 months, 6 months, because I've had one case who I've had for a year, but that's because of lockdown. But like, yes, we obviously extend the travel training beyond 6 weeks, because some people might need longer. We don't just review it every so often.
Brilliant. Thanks, Sean. That was a good answer.
You're welcome.
Emma, if we've got someone who was on the call today and they're watching in, and next year they move to further education, say they move to like a college like Wigan and Leigh College, and they're 19, 20, and while they're at college they feel as if they're not getting the support that they used to get, and actually they're beginning to struggle. Would they be able to contact you, and what type of support would you be able to offer?
Definitely, they'll definitely be able to contact us. So if you're feeling, you're at college, not getting the right support, then you could book on for one of the appointments which I've talked about, where we would have an hour conversation with you, and we could maybe give you some advice and some support. But if you needed us to attend a meeting with you, we could attend a meeting with you. We would have a chat beforehand, so we would find out what you want to raise within the meeting. So why do you feel that way? What was you getting in maybe high school? What you feel you're not getting it in college? And if you didn't feel confident enough in saying that yourself, then we could say that on your behalf. So you could either book on for an appointment. If it was quite quick information, maybe just some advice, what's my options? You could message us on Facebook, but we could offer that support in meetings and advocacy.
Brilliant. Thanks, Emma. So I can see Jill's question in the chat. I think I'll be able to answer this one. So it's, how does a learner arrange travel training? Is there an email address or form? Thank you. So at this moment in time, the way to book on for travel training would be to go through Embrace's website and make a referral into our Community Connecting project. So we'll be able to pick up the travel training aspect then and Sean would offer that support. But also if there's sort of further community connecting requirements. So say, for instance, we've got someone on the call who wants to learn or wants to attend more activities in the local area. Sean might do the travel training to get to, say, Wigan Town Centre, and then our community connector might show the person a couple of different groups and activities that are around Wigan Town Centre they can get involved in. That might be a gym class, it might be an art class. We have a gaming group that goes on, so it might be the gaming group. So it would be the kind of whole package, really. So that would be the best route into the travel training at the minute, through that community connecting, which would be a quick form, and then you do a sort of half an hour phone call. So can I do travel training if I use a wheelchair, if I'm a wheelchair user? So Sean, I don't know if you want to go on.
Yes, we are accessible. It does depend on what sort of travel training you need, but most forms of public transport, trains and buses, are accessible. So they should allow wheelchairs to have priority. So yes, we can travel train those in wheelchairs as well.
Yeah, I mean, it will obviously depend. The person who uses a wheelchair would have to be able to kind of use that wheelchair under their own steam. So whether that was a self-propelled
Yes.
wheelchair or an electric wheelchair, they would need to have that level of independence. If someone was to be pushing the wheelchair, then I suppose they would always need that second person there for them to travel independently. Yeah. So, if a parent carer felt their child would benefit from having an EHC, would this be something you could support with? As I know the process can be quite lengthy. Right, okay, so yeah, I can put that one to Emma. So if a parent carer felt that their child would benefit from having an education, health and care plan, would this be something you could support with? As I know the process can be quite lengthy.
Yeah, so short answer, yes. So the appointments which I was talking about previously, the parents and carers can book on for them as well, so that we could maybe discuss what an educational healthcare plan is, how maybe they could apply for one, maybe have a conversation with the school, see how they're feeling. But yeah, definitely we can support parents and carers too.
Brilliant, thanks Emma. A question, Sean, for you. If we've got a young person, a young adult who wants to do travel training, and they want to travel independently, but for whatever reason, you've been working with them for, say, 3 to 6 months, maybe longer, and it's getting to that stage where you think they've learned some really valuable skills during the training, but actually you feel that they still continue to need an element of support in sense of having another person with them to train. What would happen then? So they've done the training, you think, actually, I can't take you off as being an independent traveller. What would happen then?
We had that situation a few weeks ago. One of my other clients who I travel trained for a bit and they just weren't learning. We'd signpost them to alternative services that can maybe support them. For example, like other places like Driven, if they had to get somewhere, but with supervision. Yeah, I guess
Brilliant.
that sort of
So that's just important to know. So we wouldn't be kind of giving someone an independent travel training certificate unless we were completely confident they could do the journey on their own.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Sean. Great stuff. Right, I can't see anyone typing in the box. I'm just seeing if there is any other questions that potentially are coming through. Oh, I can see someone. Yeah, Amanda's just sharing Driven. So Driven, just for those of you on the call who don't know, so Sean's referring there. So if you tried travel training, it was really difficult for you, and you did need that little bit of support, so it wasn't going to be right for you to do the bus journey on your own. Driven are a volunteer-run taxi service, so the taxi fare would be I understand slightly less than what it would be if you was going to use a sort of private hire taxi. Is that right, Sean? Yeah. But you can find more about Driven
yes,
if you
it is.
on our website.
Yeah, it's a charity service, I think, and you do have to pay for it, but each price is different depending on how often you need to use Driven and how far it is. So yeah.
Brilliant. No, that's great. Thanks, Sean. So, Emma, if someone's come through, so obviously we know that it's said that we give advice around education. If someone on the call that they've got an education, health and care plan, but they needed some maybe information, advice about something other than education, what other types of support would you be able to offer?
So it would be, I think I'm understanding the question right, but other support, what we can offer other than around education would be form filling, so PIP forms, any grants what they may be eligible to apply for, finding community events, so signposting, like I went through on my presentation. Yeah.
Great stuff. What about issues around social care, or would that pass over? Or
yeah, so there's issues with social care. So say if you've got maybe direct payments and and you've got a PA and you have some questions or have some questions on how to get one, then yeah, you could ask us that too. Yeah, I would recommend asking any question you've got, and we'll try our best in answering it. And if we can't answer it, we will we'll signpost you to other organisations who potentially can answer that question. So no question is a daft question.
Great. Thank you very much, Emma, and thank you, Sean. I can't see any additional questions in the chat, so we'll bring that question answer session to an end there. So thanks. Now I'm going to stop the recording.